and welcome to BingeWatch, the podcast where we take a look at the hottest new TV and film releases on streaming television platforms. I'm Hannah Fernando, the group editor of Woman and Woman and Home magazine.
And I'm Ian McEwan, writer on TV Times, TV and Satellite Week and What's on TV magazines. And today we're looking at the new releases that will be available on Friday, the 31st of October, 2025. Including Emma Thompson playing a PI investigating a missing person case in Apple TV drama Down Cemetery Road. And This Country's Siblings stars Charlie and Daisy May Cooper reuniting for a spooky documentary series on iPlayer.
Oh, yes, indeed. But we'll also be checking out new drama series Art Detectives on You and the return of Vicky McClure, who I love, in the action-packed ITVX series Trigger Point. But first, Ian, what is in the news?
A selection of Disney Plus shows, including Marvel's Hawkeye and Limitless with Chris Hemsworth, will be available to stream on ITVX from next month. What else is in the news, Hannah?
Well, excitingly, Prime Video's Caleb Down Under will follow Clarkson's Farm favourite Caleb Cooper as he checks how farming is done in Australia. I should think that will be very fun to watch.
Okay, well, let's get cracking. Lots of good stuff this week, starting on ITV1 and ITVX. You may have caught episode 1 on Sunday night. It is the return of Trigger Point. And here's a clip.
France Command, Expo 1.
Oh my God. There is a chemical weapon in the cab. Gas!
We are dealing with a serial killer.
The devices are designed to kill, but first he wants to suffocate them.
Everyone is going to find out the truth.
So I've never seen this before, I must admit. I watched episode 1 and it was thrilling, got to say. It slightly reminded me of The Hurt Locker, which is about an army bomb disposal unit. Anyway, yes, Vicky McClure, the wonderful Vicky McClure. Actually, I was listening to her husband on the radio, and they do these sort of daytime nightclubs, don't they, called Day Fever. You can go and dance away in the afternoon. Quite nice. Anyway, I digress. She plays bomb disposal officer Lana Washington, as fans will already know. It's produced by Line of Duty creator Jed Mercurio, and it starts with a black cab which on some waste ground which is suspected to contain an explosive device. Yes, so it's pretty exciting stuff. And as they move in, they realise, alarm bells, there's someone in the cab. And there's various kind of booby traps, and there's this kind of scale system in the cab so that if the guy who's in it leaves the seat, something will happen, something bad. So yeah, as with all these bomb diffusing dramas, I mean, it's absolutely edge of your seat stuff. It's really exciting. I guess you could quibble and say, well, this is actually the work of a sort of serial killer who has an axe to grind, and he's creating all of these traps, really, involving bombs and chemical weapons, and he leaves a note saying "confess or die" next to the person that he's trapped in this situation. Yes, you could quibble and say, well, how many kind of crazed bombers are there out there to keep this unit so busy? And B, why doesn't this guy just kill the people that he hates rather than going to all this trouble? However, if he did, it wouldn't be a very exciting TV drama. So you've got Jason Fleming from Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, who I think lives around this way. I've seen him around. He is playing the terrorist. So in episode 1, you get 2 situations involving unexploded bombs. Very dramatic, very exciting. Sorry, the dog is barking. And McClure, as ever, is sheer class. So not seen this before. Very much enjoyed it. What did you think, Hannah?
Well, I am a massive fan of Vicky McClure, as you know, and I know what you're saying. I think you're right. It's like, come on, this is a bit ridiculous. How many kind of attacks can there be? And it all seems a bit much. But I think you kind of almost have to kind of zone out to that, as you have to with a lot of actually good TV once you get past the premise of it being real, if you like. But I think with this, it essentially preys on a lot of us who work in London, people who live in London or any city really, kind of preys on that sort of concern, doesn't it, of anything happening at any point and these people being tracked down. And I think it's done really, really well. And there's a reason why it's being, it keeps being brought back. And it is fairly explosive. They do introduce new things though, don't they, as well? It's not just always the one thing, the one problem. It's new devices, it's new things they have to kind of try and work out. So I think they are moving with the times each time. And as I say, once you get past the point that you made, which is, how real can this really be? How authentic? I think once you've left that behind, it's really very, very good.
Over on Apple TV Plus, we have a new drama series called Down Cemetery Road. And here's a clip.
2 bodies and a disappeared child. Maybe this case could go all the way to the top.
Well, maybe sort of all the way to the middle.
What would you like us to do with the child, sir?
Move her.
She's not quite ready to come out yet.
What is she, a cake? Have you been inside my house?
Where were you last night?
Who are you?
Zoe Byrne, private investigator.
Yes, so this is a new thriller. First 2 episodes drop on the 29th of October, as usual, for Apple TV Plus, and then it's weekly from there on in. And if you're a Slow Horses fan, then you'll probably like this, to be honest with you. I started out watching it. I've only watched the first couple of episodes, and it's completely different to what I imagined. So I'd read a bit about it previously, and kind of got my head around the idea of what was going on here. But actually, it takes quite a dark, kind of a sinister turn. So it's the setup is, you meet this couple who she works in an art gallery. He is in some kind of a finance job. All sounds very dull to me. They're having people around for dinner. They're all sat around the dinner table. She invites some inappropriate other guests because the other people who were appropriate and were able to talk the jargon of finance while he pulls off this deal couldn't make it any longer. And so they're sat around the table, and thankfully, the inappropriate people are quite funny and make for good viewing. But there's an explosion of a house in their street, a few houses down, and it's sort of it's really interesting how they do it. They're sat at the table, and suddenly everything just kind of stops and goes into slow-mo. As all of the windows cave in, everything crashes in as there's an explosion, and suddenly you're on the street, everybody's running out to see what's gone on. And they the fire crew suggests that it is a gas mains problem, but perhaps there's much, much more. Now, this is where the real big names start to enter the room, because you've got Dame Emma Thompson in this, who plays the part of a private investigator, Zoe Byrne. And basically, the woman who works in an art gallery, Sarah, she learns that a 5-year-old girl has gone missing in a blast. She's totally obsessed. She's quite an intense character, and you can see that right from the very beginning, that she's quite an intense character. She doesn't suffer fools gladly, I'd imagine. She's incredibly articulate and bright, and she becomes obsessed with finding her, and she hires Emma Thompson as her part of Zoe, as a private investigator, and they probe anyone, anything, everything, to try and unravel, I suppose, arguably a far-reaching conspiracy theory, but equally at the same time, what they think is really going on. She thinks she's seen somebody at the very beginning who she thinks she could have done it, and so it goes on. It makes you jump in parts. It's a thriller. It is pretty creepy in parts. It involves children. You know my feeling about children. When I think children or animals, I'm crying straight away. It's a really big problem. It's for a script like this to kind of really entice people like Emma Thompson, it tells you everything. As I say, Sarah, who works in an art gallery, she's an art restorer. I think she holds this together really, really well. I think she's a really, really strong character, and right from the beginning, she kind of knows her own mind. It seems like a real mismatch, her and her husband, actually, or her and her partner, I should say. Seems like a real mismatch. But I think this is really quite different. It's typical Apple TV Plus, which I always say it's a big budget, done really nicely, and as I say, completely different to something that I thought I'd be watching, because when you think of a thriller, you think immediately edge of your seat stuff, scary, all the rest of it. This just really isn't like that at the very beginning. As I say, this kind of way that the explosion goes off and it's just in slow-mo as it happens, the glass shards flying through the window onto the dinner table, everybody running out, the people at the dinner table have got children at home checking their kids are okay. Thought it was really very good. What did you think, Ian?
I was very disappointed. First of two shows this week featuring art restoration, I should add. But yeah, anything with Emma Thompson and Ruth Wilson, you're like, wow, this is going to be great. But I felt it was really overdone, overcooked, dialogue no one would ever speak. The baddies are too bad. The quirky people are too quirky. Emma Thompson plays this private investigator who's in business with her husband. And she's just way too quirky a character. She looks like Annie Lennox. The dialogue is dreadful. Ruth Wilson, you're right. She holds it together because she plays art restorer Sarah, and she just nicely underplays it. And of course, you've got, I think, Darren Boyd, although it's almost like the Malcolm Tucker of the Minister of Defence in this. He's way over the top, but you can tell he'd make a great baddie. And then you've also got the wonderful Adil Akhtar, who is very amusing as Darren Boyd's underling, who's trying to clear up the mess. So yeah, it's a big cover-up. Are they going to get to the bottom of it? I don't care. Disappointing, I would say. Over on You and Drama and streaming platform You, we have a new drama series called Art Detectives, and here is a clip.
Art theft, fraud, forgery.
Got something.
We are now investigating a murder.
What's the plan?
Rattle a few cages.
Well, you're not suggesting it's one of us, are you? That's why we're here, to find out.
So you may have previously come across this if you have Acorn TV. It stars Stephen Moyer, who best known for True Blood. He plays D.I. Mick Palmer, who's the head of London's Heritage Crime Unit, if such a thing exists. So it's a six-parter, and basically it's all got an art theme because he's an art expert and he's investigating all these crimes that have links to the art world. Yes, you get the gist. So the stuff about art, he's obviously a real kind of nerd when it comes to the art world. You learn some quite interesting stuff, for instance, about Vermeer in episode 1. And it's a whodunit. It's very cosy crime, and not very believable. But I quite liked the explanation in episode 1. So basically, a sort of an art expert is found murdered, and one of the paintings he was going to be displaying in this stately home in Yorkshire has been damaged, basically. It's been vandalised. So this guy, Stephen Moyer, is brought in to solve the crime. He hooks up with the local PC, Shazia Malik, played by Nina Singh. And for the rest of the series, they're going to travel around investigating, the death of a Titanic memorabilia collector in Belfast. Yes, the theft of a priceless Chinese vase from a locked vault in London. So as with the Trigger Point, aren't they lucky that all these crimes with links to the world of art just keep happening? You've got some things to look forward to. They've got Larry Lamb is going to be playing his criminal father, Ron. I think that's good casting. They do look quite similar. Sarah Alexander, the lovely Sarah Alexander from Coupling, she appears briefly as the love interest in episode 1. You're going to see Jason Hughes from Midsummer Murders. So I would say Stephen Moyer is great in this. He's just got star quality. He's got charisma, and so I think he elevates it above a fairly kind of not that great cozy crime procedural. But yeah, I did quite enjoy episode 1. I thought it was okay. What did you think, Hannah?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it's a bit of a theme, isn't there, this week? I think it's quite interesting, and we have, we see kind of art, it's something people invest in, isn't it? And so, the idea that, I don't know, I think people that are interested in art will like this. For me, when I was watching it, I didn't think, I absolutely love it. I don't. And I think that I know you really disliked what we were talking about last, but with that, it isn't all about the art. It's about something completely different. This is very much based around that. It's quite nicely done. I do like Larry Lamb. I think Larry Lamb always turns his hand really well to anything that he does, to be honest with you. So I think that probably makes it worth a watch. But it's not something that I kind of think, do you know what, I really, really loved. I've watched a bit of it. It's fine. It's okay, but nothing to write home about for me.
We're going to finish on BBC iPlayer with a new documentary series called Daisy May and Charlie Cooper's NightWatch, and here's a clip.
Some people want to climb Everest.
We want to see a ghost.
What? Is this place haunted?
Right in front of the crisp packet.
This is pretty serious stuff. We don't get to see each other that often.
This is an opportunity
For us to reconnect. Oh! We're better than this.
We're not.
What's that?
Lovely doing business with you.
Yes, so this isn't their first rodeo, is it? Of course, because Charlie and Daisy May Cooper have joined together before. We've watched them together before, and they're quite an interesting couple in terms of their sibling, because in their sibling way, because they are just they're such different in character. And we watched that. I enjoyed this country actually, but this time they're back for this kind of 6-part series, which is a bit spooky. I suppose it is the season. And they are staying overnight in some of Britain's most haunted buildings. It's funny because I was watching Gogglebox the other night, and it was something similar where they were watching, one of these kind of paranormal type shows, and you show yourself, and then they've got, they're recording somebody speaking, and you never know whether it's true or not, but it's kind of, you just want to watch it, and I can see why people will be fascinated with this. So the both of them, she says, have been into the paranormal and supernatural since they were young. So this seems something like that they would want to join up in, and she brings a lot of humour to it. She's got funny bones, hasn't she? And as I say, they're quite kind of different characters, really. She said they used to watch a lot of, he said they used to watch a lot of films growing up, kind of scary horror films, and this, I suppose, feeds in that. So it doesn't really matter where they see anything, hear anything, or anything moves, really, because essentially where they're staying is just so creepy. So if it's a dark night, which it will be now, the nights are drawing in, and you're alone, don't watch this, because it is just that little bit creepy. They're just eerie locations, and over the series you see them camping out, and just it just has you on the edge of your seat, really, because it just is a bit creepy, and you imagine being there, and it's jumpy and all the rest of it, and as I say, you don't have to be into paranormal, or is it real or isn't it? It's just an idea that they're ghost hunting, and they start in Gloucester prison, and again it feeds, doesn't it, all of those kind of fears that we have, and what could be haunted in some of those cells. Just completely it's creepy no matter what. It's a good view. I enjoyed what I've seen so far. What do you think?
Well, it's a pretty thin premise, and of course, you're not going to see any ghosts, of course. But I love this country. I love these two. They're hilarious together, and so I watch them doing pretty much anything. So, yes, I enjoyed it. Now we've got to that time where we find out what the hell you've been binge watching this week, Hannah.
Well, I've done a bit of Gogglebox, and you won't believe it, but the Christmas issue of Woman, the double Christmas issue of Woman, as well as the Woman at Home Christmas issue, is on sale now. And it's all, it feels very, very early, but it's all about getting ready and prepping ahead. So I just thought, do you know what? I'm going to get myself into the festive spirit. I watched one of those really ropey Christmas films, but God, I loved it. What did you watch?
I've just discovered on Netflix this brilliant... it's a comedy, really, sort of romantic comedy series called Nobody Wants This, about a podcaster who sort of podcasts about her terrible love life, and she starts unexpectedly dating a rabbi, and I think it's just come back for a second season, and it's really, really great. The script is hilarious. Anyway, I'll stop rabbiting on now. We've just got time to look ahead to next week's offering. So what is on the Binge Watch menu, Hannah?
Well, Guillermo del Toro takes on a horror classic, Frankenstein, and which will drop on Netflix.
Good stuff. Looking forward to that. And Sean Bean stars in a new TV series about Robin Hood on MGM Plus. So we look forward to those and much, much more. But in the meantime, dear listeners...